it too hard. She left me here with this guitar. You could try stealing my heart, it's already gone. You could tell something is wrong, just leave me alone. I don't even know where to start.
Yo, it is your boy Brav King Productions, and welcome back to the channel. And today we're gonna be watching some horror stories, pretty much something like Corey X Kenshin, and like we're gonna post it Sunday because that's when I'm gonna do horror stuff, kind of like Corey X Kenshin. So let's get started. I'm gonna watch like maybe 3 things, and then that's gonna be it. I'm gonna do a little short because it's 3 in the morning and I'm just trying to relax. So let's get straight to it.
I hate Christmas. I hate it with the most malice intentions ever. As a matter of fact, the thought of Christmas makes my skin crawl. I wasn't like this before. I used to cherish the holiday tradition, but all of that's changed now.
Sound like the Grinch.
It all started a couple years back when I was 26 years old. It was the holidays, so Christmas was around the corner while festivities were in full effect. Hey, I'm on my way to pick you up.
I'm excited to go Christmas shopping!
Yeah, me too. Me and my girlfriend Emma had dated since high school, so the bond that we shared was something most couples couldn't fathom, to say the least. I decided to propose to Emma on Christmas. Figured I couldn't go wrong on such a monumental occasion. I remember it being a snowy evening when me and Emma went to the mall to do some holiday Christmas shopping. The mall was bombarded with more shoppers than usual as there was a holiday sale going on in almost every store. I remember being in need of a festive outfit for my parents' upcoming Christmas party as my wardrobe lacked the attire. I decided to check out the clothing store Forever 21 as I could see they had a wide variety of selection from first glance. I picked out an array of various Christmas sweaters and headed to the fitting room while my girlfriend waited outside for me. Oh yeah, fits way better than my dad's lame hand-me-downs. Hey babe, how does this look? I noticed my girlfriend Emma wasn't there. I figured she must have gone back into the store to look at more clothes. As I left the changing room, I noticed from the corner of my eye that Emma was outside the store waiting in a huge line for something. I ended up purchasing one of the sweaters and began to approach Emma. Hey babe, why'd you leave me hanging in the fitting room?
I wanted to line up and take a picture with him.
Emma, this line is huge. I'll just dress up as Santa later and you can take a picture of me.
He's not Santa, though.
I looked towards the direction of where the lineup began and realized that there were 2 separate lineups. One lineup was for a professionally taken photo with the mall Santa. The other lineup was for a picture with a man dressed as the Grinch. We were unfortunately in the lineup for the Grinch as Emma was a pretty big fan of the character. I personally found the whole ordeal bizarre considering he didn't have any professional setup like how the mall Santa had. No platform, no chair, no professional photographer, no elf services, just him and the bench he sat on. I assumed he was one of those street performers that just dressed up for donations, except there was no tip jar or anything that would allow guests to donate in. Emma, this guy looks kinda sus. Can we just leave?
Please just relax, Henry. It'll only take a couple of minutes.
I decided to bite my tongue and proceed with Emma's request as there was nothing I could have said that could convince her otherwise.
Come on, man.
As we got closer to the front of the lineup, I could visibly see the Grinch's eyes light up with exhilaration, almost like I brought a sense of enthusiasm into his day. I decided to be ballsy and lock eyes with him, just to express more of my alpha male side towards this weirdo. As the line gradually progressed, I realized that he wasn't making eye contact with me, he was looking at my girlfriend Emma. It was blatantly obvious he had an interest in my girlfriend due to the lack of attention he was giving others taking photos with him. What the hell is this guy's problem? Why is he checking out my girlfriend? We eventually reached the front of the line and approached the Grinch to take a 3-way selfie with my cell phone.
Hey buddy, the girl gets a picture first.
Dude, that's my girlfriend.
I said, get behind the girl, kid.
Stupid green prick.
Another beautiful hoe.
What did you just call me?
I mean, ho ho ho, Merry Christmas. What's your name, little girl?
My name is Emma.
Ooh, what a beautiful name to match such a beautiful face. Why don't you come here and sit on Daddy's lap?
Dude, what the
Oh,
hell
you're
is your
weird.
problem?
Back off,
You're
loser.
weird.
She wants a picture with me, not you.
He's my boyfriend. Don't talk to him like that.
Sit on my lap and be a good girl, Emma, or else Santa won't give you any presents this year. Ugh. I'm putting you on my naughty list, you little brat!
That's when we decided to head home.
Yeah, I'd head off.
I remember dropping off my girlfriend at her place and then heading home to assist my parents in prepping for the Christmas party the following night. My parents were really old school and put a lot of effort into decorating their household, especially during festive holidays like this. Later that night, I remember making myself a glass of hot chocolate spiked with a little bit of my dad's whiskey. I sat by the fireplace and enjoyed the
lit.
fire crackling ambience while casually sipping on my drink. Figured I couldn't go wrong with that on a warm Christmas Eve. I remember hearing my cell phone ringing throughout the night. I recall being so intoxicated I couldn't see nor hear anything distinctively. Everything was blurry. It felt
Oh my
virtually
God.
impossible to move any fiber of my body,
That's fine.
almost like I was stuck in a subconscious state of sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
I began to close my eyes and doze off again. A couple hours later, I recall a voice whispering my name.
Hey, Henry. Henry, wake up. Hello, wake up, little drunk. It's me, Santa.
I could vaguely see the outline of a man that looked like a Santa figure standing in front of me. Bear in mind, I was still in a groggy and incoherent state of mind, so making out the gentleman's minuscule facial features was almost an impossible endeavor to comprehend.
Hey, Henry, I bought you a Christmas present.
Dad, is that you?
Henry, listen, I want you to open up this Christmas gift first when you wake up. Do you understand me?
Yeah, Dad, sir.
I'm going to leave it right here in the middle of the Christmas tree, okay?
Okay.
Anyways, Merry Christmas, Henry.
Merry Christmas, Dad.
Time to go to sleep again, Henry.
I don't like this.
A couple hours later, I get awoken by the light from the living room window illuminating on my face. I realized I had blacked out due to the spiked concoction I had whipped up the previous night. I checked my cell phone and realized that I had about 10 missed calls and over 100 missed texts from Emma. I opened the text messages, only to see the text reading,
Hey, is that you? Are you inside my place? This isn't funny, Henry.
and so on and so forth. What I found more disturbing was the last batch of messages, which read,
I knew you were going to propose all along.
Merry Christmas, Henry.
It just kept repeating, over and over again. I began calling Emma's cell phone and only got her voicemail. That's when I closed my eyes and began recollecting the imagery of what transpired last night. I could vaguely recall someone dressed as Santa and leaving a present underneath the Christmas tree.
Good.
That's when I noticed a box that looked out of place from the rest of the presents. I took the box and opened it, only to discover a severed hand. The hand had a message on it which read, "Marry me."
That was good. That was really good. That was wow. Wow, that was good. All right, next one. All right, let me try to. Hey, we are back. Now we're gonna be watching a Christmas Eve horror story. I know this is all Christmas Eve, but like, I kind of want to, even though Christmas is over, still let y'all know, like, hey, still watching something light. But let's get straight to it.
Last year on Christmas Eve, I was working late. I'm 23, I work in New York City and commute home every day on the train. Since I'm one of the younger ones in the office, I got stuck with one of the worst shifts, so I wasn't able to get home until 5 o'clock.
Damn, that sucks.
My family had already left a whole hour earlier to go to my cousin's house, so I had to drive alone. After having a quick snack before the half-hour drive, I got back in my car and put my cousin's address into my phone. Halfway through the drive, it started snowing. I got to my cousin's house around 6 o'clock. It was snowing heavily by this point, and I just made it in time to catch everyone starting dinner. I brought all of my gifts inside and cheerfully said hey to everyone. I stayed until around 11 o'clock. The rest of my family left a little sooner. I stayed an extra half hour or so just to hang out before leaving myself.
Yeah.
By the time I was leaving, the ground had accumulated at least 2 feet of snow, and it wasn't even done snowing. The drive home was nightmarish. The roads were hardly even plowed, and I had to drive under 20 miles per hour on most roads. The roads were completely dead at this point though, most likely because everyone was smart enough to go home before the snow accumulated. Eventually I turned onto a main road that I'm sure would usually be bustling, but at 11:15 on Christmas Eve night, there wasn't a single car or a single light from a store. It was a ghost town. But then I did notice the flashing taillights of one car. It was parked on the side of the road, and the smoke seeping out from its exhaust with the taillights giving it a red tint. As I got closer, I realized there was somebody next to the car waving their hand in the air. I assumed something was wrong and they needed help. So, me being the good Samaritan I am, I pulled up behind the car. When I opened my door, the guy approached me immediately, barely even giving me time to step out. He was an average-sized man, probably 5'10", 180 pounds. He spoke in a very demanding voice, asking me if I know anything about fixing an engine. I told him I didn't know much about cars. The guy responded very quickly to everything I said. He told me it's fine. He went inside of his car for a second, popped open his trunk, came back out and told me to just wait by the trunk for a second. I had no idea what he wanted me to do. I was really confused. He walked over to the front of his car, and I heard him open the hood. I couldn't see anything he was doing since the trunk was blocking my view, and the loud wind of the snowstorm overpowered any small noises he might have been making. I put my hand on the back of the car and leaned my body in anticipation, when suddenly I heard 3 or 4 quick and aggressive footsteps in the snow behind me before I was pushed into the trunk. The man tried to close the trunk on me, but I kicked my feet up in resistance and held it up. I was able to overpower him and kick the trunk open completely.
Good shit, nigga.
As I took advantage of the few seconds I had to get out of the trunk, I took out my keys. He tried to grab me now, and I dug my house key right into his neck. He fell to his knees and his scream echoed down the deserted street. I was in my car and halfway down the road before he could even get up from his knees.
Damn.
A little further down, I called 911 and reported the guy. I came back in 10 minutes to find blue and red lights illuminating the windows of the deserted stores. The police held him until the ambulance arrived for him. I watched the whole thing, and nothing ever felt better in my life. I got home safely half an hour later and told my family everything. I was still very shaken that Christmas, and this remains possibly the most horrific thing I've ever experienced.
Wow. Alright. That's one of the videos. So now we're going to watch. Okay, we are back, y'all. It is your boy Brave King, and we're back. Now we're going to be watching Snarled Skinwalker. This is all Christmas things. And I know I'll just say my pants. I don't give a fuck. Deal with it. But let's get straight to it.
Hello, my dark darlings. I hope you're enjoying your latest voyage into the dark. But if you're caught up and thinking, now what? It would be a great time to do what I love to do. And that's to unwind by rocking a few challenging puzzle levels with Best Fiends. Best Fiends is the infamously impossible to put down puzzle game with over 100 million downloads and counting. A free to download mobile game with over 5,000 challenges, with more added all the time. Once you download Best Fiends, boredom won't stand a chance. Download Best Fiends free today on the Apple App Store or Google Play. That's Friends without the R. Best Fiends.
All right.
Hey,
Let's get
I'm
straight to it.
Markia. Want to hear something scary?
Roadkiller.
All right, Roadkiller. Let's get straight to it.
Appearances can be deceiving. They say good things come in small packages, but they never tell you that bad things can come in good packages too. What appears to be sweet and innocent is sometimes much, much worse. Like in this story, inspired by our listener, Michael Page. Every Christmas, Ani and Catherine would drive up to meet their family at the cabin they shared in the Alaskan woods. Ani loved staying there, but she hated the drive because of her sister. Catherine was the oldest and very bossy, especially on trips. The weather was on the verge of a snowstorm and visibility wasn't great, but Ani was trying to make good time and hoping she could beat the storm. Catherine was doing her best backseat driving, telling her sister to slow down or to even pull over so she could drive. Soon, they were arguing, just like they did on this trip every year. As things got heated, Ani took her eyes off the road to yell at Catherine, who suddenly gasped, "Look out!" Up ahead, standing in the center of the road, staring straight into their headlights, was a white reindeer. Had the light not been reflecting in his eyes, Ani wouldn't have seen it at all. There was barely enough time for her to slam on the brakes and swerve. The sisters screamed as the car spun out of control and smashed hard into a bank of snow along the edge of the road. They looked back and saw that they narrowly missed the majestic reindeer that now turned and looked at them. It jerked erratically as it moved, and its eyes still glowed a bright orange, even in the dark. Everything seemed to quiet as the snow gently fell around them. Neither sister dared take a breath. And then suddenly, the creature snorted and stomped his hooves on the road as it let out a guttural roar, and then lowered his antlers and charged straight for the car. Ani moved towards Catherine as the reindeer crashed into the driver's side, which pushed the car deeper into the snow. The sisters held on tightly to each other as the deer backed up and charged again. There was a loud crack as its massive antlers smashed into the side, causing a spiderweb of cracks along the windows. They braced for another impact, but it never came. Ani and Catherine looked for the reindeer, but it was still snowing hard. It could have been a few feet or a few miles away, and they would not have been able to tell. Catherine calmed down enough to take charge and told Ani to get them out of there. The old resentment started to creep in, but Ani realized that her sister was right and started the car. She shifted it into drive, but the car wouldn't move. The animal had pushed them too deep into the snow. They both reached for their phones at the same time and tried to call their dad. Ani gave her sister a sarcastic smirk when she got through first. He knew where they were located and said they would be there within the hour. No other vehicles passed as they sat there, waiting. After a long, awkward silence, Ani decided she'd try to make peace with her sister. But when she turned to her, there was terror on Catherine's face. She was trying to speak, but nothing was coming out. She pointed behind Ani, who slowly turned and looked through the cracked windows. The reindeer had returned. Only this time, something was very wrong with it. The beast now stood on its hind legs and walked erratically towards them. They watched as the reindeer's face shifted and looked more like a crazed man. The hooves on his front legs gave way to clawed hands as it lurched closer. It dug into their door frame and began to pull on it. They both huddled together in terrified silence as metal began to creak. It was going to rip that door off, and there was nothing they could do. Ani tried opening her sister's door, but it was stuck against the snow. They were trapped, and her escape attempt seemed to make the creature angrier. Its long white neck flexed as it let loose noises that sounded like female voices. The voices sounded both entreating and mocking as they came forth from this transformed, unearthly creature. Catherine cringed, hugging her sister tight, pulling her to the window furthest from the beast. "Climb out the window and run as soon as it rips off the door, Ani. I'll keep it busy long enough for you to get away," Catherine urged. But Ani wasn't going to let Catherine boss her around this time. "No, we'll fight it together, Catherine. We're in this together." Ani raised her fist, shouting through the window at the skinwalker. "We're not afraid of you." Suddenly, light filled the car as they could see another vehicle quickly approaching. The creature looked as well and snarled. It glanced one more time at the both of them, pinning them with its glowing eyes, and then ran for the woods, transforming back into a reindeer as it disappeared into the night. The girls were relieved as the truck stopped and their parents got out wielding snow shovels. As the sisters pulled back onto the road, they were followed closely behind by their parents. Their dad noted in a text that their back license plate was missing, the one thing that could identify them in their car if someone had the means to find it. The sisters shivered, aware that they could never be certain that it wouldn't one day find them and try to finish what it had started.
Okay. Well, hello there. Well, I am done with you. We're going to watch one more. Okay, we are back. This is the last video for the night. Hopefully y'all enjoying it. Hopefully y'all are entertained. And I hope Corey Kenshin watches this because he's my favorite YouTuber. Now, I need people to send me scary stuff so I can react to it because I'm literally just searching this shit up. And I like this girl. This is the other one. I like this one. I don't know. Her voice just gives you a demean. I don't know. Gives you like a thing. So we're going to be watching. I'm just going to say it when it pauses, but let's get straight to it. A Christmas Horror Story with Sapphire.
Hey, I'm Sapphire.
Want to hear something scary?
Ooh, hold on, wait a minute. I like that.
This is an original holiday tale that was inspired by a post on the No Sleep subreddit written by username Heyong.
Okay. Let's get straight to it.
Every year, there's that one popular toy that every kid wants and every parent is fighting to find. Tickle Me Elmos, Furbies, Hatchimals. This year, it's the best friend. They come in a variety of animal shapes and they walk and talk and interact with your kid as if it were a real living thing. It's all my son Rex would talk about in the months leading up to Christmas. He would show me videos on YouTube of other kids playing with their best friends. The technology was actually incredibly impressive and justified the hefty price tag. It would ask the kids questions like how old they were, where they lived, and it would give realistic responses when the kids answered. It could even walk next to you and follow you around the house. Rex even explained to me that it used cameras and sensors to do so. It's crazy how knowledgeable and comfortable kids are around tech these days. When I was his age, I could barely operate a TV. I told him that if he was really good, Santa would definitely get it for him. But it was impossible to find. I went to every mall, looked at every online store. The only best friends available were being resold for 10 times what they were worth. It was a week before Christmas, and I had pretty much given up hope. But then a friend of mine texted me. He had found a paper ad on a coffee shop bulletin. A man had purchased a bunch of best friends and was selling them for face value. But there was no name or contact info, not even a phone number, just a location and window of time to meet him. There were so many red flags that it was probably just a scam, but I was desperate.
No.
And the location was on my way to work.
Hold on. No. Why? Well, I know this is the only time I talk this whole video, but why? Why would you do that? You know there's a location, time, but you don't have no number. Like, you're just telling yourself, okay, I'm going to fuck myself. Literally. All right, but let's see how this goes.
I figured it wouldn't hurt to go see if it was legit. The next morning, I went to the neighborhood park listed on the ad and looked for the bright yellow truck. There it was, off in the far corner of the parking lot. As I approached it, I saw that there were anti-government conspiracy theorist bumper stickers all over it. 9/11 was an inside job, don't trust banks, technology will kill us, that sort of thing. I approached the driver's side window and saw a man in his 50s. Hi, I'm here to get a best friend?
Sure. I'll need a photo of you first.
Okay, why not? He pulled out a Polaroid camera and snapped a photo of me. I figured it was his kooky way of recording his sales. I didn't know, and I didn't care to ask.
Must be pretty desperate to get a toy from a stranger in a parking lot.
The man said with a chuckle. Yeah, I really need this.
Oh, you need this. Well, I'm glad to have helped.
You accept Venmo? I asked him, gesturing to the app on my cell phone. He burst out laughing.
Only idiots willingly carry a tracking device on them. Cash only.
Luckily, I had some on me, and I handed it to him. You know, cell phones are really useful. The man handed me the box, and as he did, he looked deep into my eyes and said,
Their greatest achievement was making us believe that we need the things that will one day betray us.
Yeah.
Okay, this guy's nuts, I thought to myself as I slowly began walking away from his truck.
Bye.
I was just happy to have my hands on a best friend. After work, I didn't even bother wrapping the toy or waiting until Christmas. I handed it straight to my son, who began jumping up and down with glee. This particular one looked like a cute little dinosaur, which he loved. It was the happiest I had seen him in a long time. He loved that thing and took it everywhere with him. The first incident that should have told me something was up was when I started receiving emails for services I hadn't signed up for. I just wrote them off as spam. Then my credit card statements started showing transactions that were definitely not mine. Credit card theft was pretty common around the holidays, so I had my bank send me a new card, and that was that. But the worst of it was when our house was broken into. We had spent Christmas Day at my mother's house with family, and we came back home to find our windows smashed and many of our valuables stolen. It was the worst possible way to end such a joyful day. As my wife and I examined the mess, my son came up to me and handed me his best friend. He wants to talk to you. Please, Rex, I don't have time to play your games right now.
Still think I'm nuts, Lisa?
I recognized that voice. That's when it all made sense. I grabbed the toy from him and looked for a battery pack. It must have been really well concealed because I couldn't find it.
You see it? Oh, this is why I love her. Bro, I love her. She's so good at what bro. Not to be disrespectful to the new one, it's just this one gives you chills. Ooh. Alright, let's get straight to it. Oh my gosh.
Any zippers or compartments. The toy continued to taunt me.
You invited me in. You knew what I was capable of, and you didn't care.
Shut up! I took it to the kitchen and pulled out a butcher knife. My son was yelling at me the entire time, telling me not to hurt him. But I had to. I had to destroy it.
Why is everyone so willing to give up their privacy so easily?
I smashed its face. I could hear the mechanism inside shatter. My son was hysterical. But he didn't understand how serious this was.
Yeah.
I had to destroy that toy
Of
for
course.
his safety, for our safety. My son looked at me with the most hateful expression I had ever seen. I hate you, Mom. I hate you! He stormed
Nigga,
off to
I'm
his room
protecting you, nigga.
as I fell apart in the kitchen. Then my phone rang.
You thought it was going to be that easy? I know everything about you now, Lisa. And until you get rid of all your devices, I'll keep finding you.
Want more something scary? You can.
This is why I like her. She gets you all frightened. was good. That was good. Damn, that was good. Alright, we'll end it there. All y'all have a blessed day. It's Brave King Productions.